everyone, I hope you're all doing well and taking care, and welcome to this brand new Doctor Who video on this Sunday night. So as it is Sunday night, it is of course my latest review of Doctor Who Flux, Doctor Who Series 13, Once Upon a Time. As always, I haven't been on social media or anything like that, so I've got no idea what anybody thinks, but personally, I really enjoyed this episode. I would probably say it's my favourite episode of the series so far. I did enjoy it slightly more than the Halloween Apocalypse and the War of Centarans. I know some people will have different opinions because this episode, it is more character focused, it is more timey-wimey, and that won't be everyone's cup of tea, which is completely fair enough, but for me, I really did enjoy this episode. So let's start by talking about the plot. So what I liked about this story was it was a very timey-wimey plot, but it was explained really well by Chris Chibnall to the audience, because I feel if this was a Stephen Moffat timey-wimey episode, it would probably be all over the place and be very complicated. But despite the complicated plot here, I feel Chris Chibnall kept it simple as he could. So basically, the Doctor jumped into one of the Mori pods just before the time storm began, and as a result, the Doctor absorbed the time stream. She was now in control of time, pretty much. And as a result of this, she sent Dan, Yaz and Vinder to their own time streams to keep them safe in time, and it also meant it was a good way for the Doctor to revisit her past lives, which we will get to in a minute. But as I said, very complicated plot, but it was explained very well to the audience in my opinion. I guess apart from the Doctor, the most interesting character in this episode would be Vinder, because for the first time we actually get to learn a bit about this character. So we learn that he is sent on his mission basically to work for someone who I believe was called the Serpent. I could be wrong, but you probably know who I'm talking about. I'm sure his name was the Serpent or something like that. But yeah, he's working for someone called the Serpent. He has to basically watch this meeting that's going on, and with this meeting, it turns out the Serpent wants to do a dodgy deal with these species, and he wants these species to kill some of his family members. And because of this dodgy deal, because it's very sinister, and obviously the Serpent is up to no good, Vinder reports this to his boss. But because the Serpent is high up in the chain, it means that Vinder's boss doesn't really take the complaint seriously, and as a result, Vinder is sent to Outpost Rose, which we've seen in the first episode, which is obviously a bit of a punishment. It's a bit of an exile. So yeah, it was interesting to learn about Vinder in this episode a lot more. I think for the first time we get an idea who he actually is. There's still lots of questions. For example, who is the Serpent? What is their species? What is this deal all about? Like, who are the Serpent species, and you know, why does the Serpent want some of his family members dead? So I'd imagine we will see the Serpent again this season. I like to think so, unless it's just going to be a completely forgotten about Fred. Bit worried it might be, but hopefully we'll get to see Serpent later on in the series at some point. But yeah, it was just good to finally learn a bit about Vinder. I don't think Vinder now is going to be Romana as speculated, or the Rani or anything like that. I don't think the Vinder is going to have much connection to the Doctor. I just think he's a genuine character to go along this season. We also learned a bit as well about his girlfriend, who is trying to survive out in the wild. It was great to see the Daleks at the start of this episode. I was not expecting that, although I did say on Twitter, I said on Twitter last week that I thought the Daleks would be in this episode. I was technically wrong, because I said that planet was going to be Scarrow and that's how they were going to be in it, but still, it was good to see the Daleks back. Does that mean that maybe the New Year's Day special is not going to be a Dalek special, because the Daleks have now been seen here? Could that have been filming for Series 13 instead? I'm not sure, although I'm still presuming the New Year's Day special will be the Daleks, of course. But yeah, it's good to learn a bit about Vinder's girlfriend as well. She's a bit of a survivor. She goes up against the Cybermen. It was nice to see the Cybermen back. It was just a short cameo, but it was at least a bit of the episode. It wasn't just like a 2-second cameo, so it was a bit more than I was expecting. It was great to see a big army of them matching as well. And yeah, it's just nice to see the Daleks and the Cybermen unexpectedly in this episode. So as a result of the Doctor absorbing the time stream, as I said, it meant that she sent Dan and Yaz into their own time streams. And we got to learn a bit more about Dan. We got to learn that he has an ex-wife. And I'm immediately thinking straight away, because obviously there's rumours earlier this year that Catherine Tate would be in this new series. So maybe Catherine Tate is Dan's ex-wife. Well, not Catherine Tate, but Donna Noble. Maybe that is Dan's ex-wife. That has been speculated before. We now learned that Dan has an ex-wife at least, so maybe that's true. Again, that's just speculation. probably rubbish, probably not going to be true. But yeah, it was nice to learn a bit more about Dan in the story, a bit more of his back life, his history. We also learned as well that Dan is unfortunately trapped in the passengers. We'll have to wait and see what happens with her. Is there going to be an emotional exit in the finale? There probably is going to be, but we don't know for sure yet. Well, also with Yaz as well, she was sent into her own personal life as well. We saw a bit of her as a police officer, which was a bit of a fun scene where it started off with the Doctor as a police officer alongside Yaz. That was a really funny scene. We also got to see a good scene where the Doctor is playing the gaming console with Yaz, which is an interesting scene as well. I wish we saw a bit more of Yaz's sister and a bit more of Yaz's personal life in this story, but I get it's just for flashback reasons. You know, there's only so much you can put into 50 minutes, but it was still good to see anyway. Moving on to the main star herself, of course, who is, of course, the Doctor. So we find in this episode that obviously the Doctor is also sent to her own time stream as well, and we finally get to see the return of Jo Martin. I'm so glad that Jo Martin is coming back this series, because I think there was a bit of a concern. Was Jo Martin maybe not going to return? Because let's be honest, it's unlikely she's unfortunately going to be involved in the Russell T Davies era coming up. It's likely that Series 13 and the specials is the last chance for Jo Martin's Doctor to be at least on screen in the main series, although hopefully she will return for the 60th anniversary. Hopefully Russell will invite her. I'd love to get a spin-off. I think our best bet is going to be Big Finish, but I would love to see a TV spin-off. But I'm glad at least that Jo Martin is getting more screen time this series. So yeah, it's revealed that Jodie Whittaker's Doctor is also playing Jo Martin's Doctor because of the time stream. It just means that Jodie Whittaker is in Jo Martin's time stream and she's playing her fugitive Doctor. Again, timey-wimey, but it's explained well. And yeah, it's good to see Jo Martin back. I do hope she's back for the finale and we actually get to see a full story with Jo Martin, and not just because as much as I like Jo Martin in this episode, she was only in it for a few minutes overall, because obviously her Doctor was still played by Jodie Whittaker. But yeah, it's great to see Jo Martin back. We also got to see the old Swarm as well, that moved the story forward. We finally found out how the Doctor captured the Swarm, and we presume that's him in prison until he is released at the start of the series. So yeah, it was good to learn a bit more about the past of the Doctor, and hopefully that will continue into the series finale. Near the end of the episode, there was a bit of a twist, because there's this random woman who turns up. We don't know anything about her, we don't know who she is, so it'll be interesting to see who exactly that woman was. Is it maybe, it sounds like it's someone to do with the Doctor. Could it be the Doctor's mother maybe? I'm just saying, you know, I know that'd be controversial, but maybe one of the Doctor's family members, no idea. But she seems to know who the Doctor is, and she seems to say to the Doctor that basically it's her own fault for the Flux. So it looks like the Flux is something to do with the Doctor. So I'm thinking straight away, does that mean that Jo Martin's Doctor, or maybe another incarnation of the Timeless Child, was one of them maybe a bit more sinister? Did they, you know, create the Flux for wrong reasons? Maybe was it just the Doctor accidentally created the Flux in her past lives? I'm not sure. I'd imagine it is something to do with Jo Martin's Doctor, and I'm sure we will find out probably throughout episode 5 and 6 if I had to take a guess. But yeah, I'm interested to see where that exact thread goes. And obviously the cliffhanger was the Weeping Angels. So the Weeping Angels are back. They've took over the TARDIS. It was also nice to see an extended Next Time trailer as well. So yeah, I'm really excited to see the Weeping Angels back next week. I'm sure that's going to be a great story. I know the writers have said that stories moving forward will be more keeping with the serialized tone. So I don't think next week is going to be completely like War of Centauran, where it was a bit more standalone. I think even next week is going to have, it's basically going to move the story forward. We're not going to, you know, stay still. I think it's going to be a great Weeping Angels story. It's an hour long next week as well, so I'm very much excited to see that episode. Overall, I very much enjoyed this latest episode of Doctor Who Flux. I think it does a good job at moving the story forward, particularly into the second part of the series, where I'm sure most of the questions will finally be answered as the series progresses. I thought that Chris Chumell did a good job at keeping this episode timey-wimey, but also explaining it really well to the audience. It wasn't too complicated or anything like that. And yeah, it was just a really good character-focused episode of Doctor Who. But what do you guys think? Please let me know in the comment section below your thoughts. Did you enjoy the latest episode of Doctor Who Flux, Once Upon a Time? Let me know in the comment section below. If you have enjoyed this review, I do weekly reviews every Sunday night, so please subscribe. I also do weekly videos throughout the week on the latest series, on the latest theories and rumours and everything like that. So yeah, any new subscribers would be really appreciated. But yeah guys, thanks for watching, take care, and I will see you all next time. Bye for now.